and welcome. I think I fucked that up. Hello, welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast, episode 14. We are starting Elantris with chapters 1 through 4. I'm here with Darkness,
Hello.
Mythic,
Why does he get to go first?
because I do it in order, just it's the order I always do. I don't know, that's just the order I always do.
It goes from like favorite to least
God,
favorite.
I feel like an Elantrian now.
Oh my
Ah,
gosh. And I'm Midnight. Welcome to the podcast. I got very thrown up. So
My job is complete.
this is in this book compared to Warbreaker. There's actually parts to it. There's 3 parts. So we learned that part 1 is titled "The Shadow of Elantris," and we also get to at the start of every part and the start of every chapter. There's a little Aeon, and so we get the Aeon Ella, which means focus or center, and obviously is part of the word Elantris for this part. And then for chapter 1, we get the Aeon, which is literally just called Aeon, which means first and language. So we start our first chapter with the sentence, Prince Raudon of Erelon awoke that morning completely unaware that he had been damned for all eternity. So Raudon is the first main character we meet, and he's glancing out at the walls of Elantris that cast his city of Kay in deep shadows. Raudon notes the fall of the city and how it had been beautiful just 10 years ago. Raudon then notes that it's warmer than usual and that he's very hungry. He calls for his servants, and his Seon, Ian, and a servant named Old Elau eventually knocks on the door and has a tray of fruit and warm bread. However, before Raudon can grab the food, Lau drops it and cries out, "Merciful Domi," in horror as she clutches at the Karathi pendant on her neck. And Raudon then sees his hand, stumbles to a mirror to see his hair has changed to a limp gray, and his skin is covered in sickly black patches. The shroud had come upon him. So what did you think about this introduction to Raudon?
I didn't I didn't expect him specifically to get fucked up that fast, but I
Yeah, you
thought it
just
would be more of a build up for him to get, chosen for that.
nope. It's just he wakes up and he's suddenly just fucked. So yeah, that was it's an interesting introduction to him, right?
hmm
just fuck you, dude. Fuck you in particular. What did you think, Mythic, for that introduction to Raudon?
No, I mean, pretty much hit it on the nail. I mean, like I said before, I don't know. I wasn't very taken by this book so far. So
So we then time skip to Raudon being put into the city of Elantris, the gates being shut behind him. His father, King Iadon, had ordered him thrown in here swiftly and quietly, so it wasn't known that what had happened. Raudon reflects on.
what a good dad.
Yeah, he's a great
It's always
dad.
it's always the fucking dads in these books, I swear.
I mean, we get him
Right
with
off the bat
Serene's
too.
dad later. Serene's dad's great.
Uh,
Aventio?
So
uh, I
far
mean,
that we
I
know of.
mean, I mean, let's say okay. He's okay. He's trying to doom his whole place to just to make his daughter happy. But
um, Mythic just hates dads. Very anti-dad.
yeah, he has mine left with the milk.
Ah,
um,
He didn't leave to get it. He just left with it.
he just left with the milk. He's like, no milk for you. Fuck you. So Raudon reflects on how 10 years ago the Shroud would have made him a god, and instead it makes people into sickly monstrosities. Raudon notes that since the Riode, every person taken by the Shroud has been thrown into Elantris to rot, making the city into a tomb for those whose bodies had forgotten how to die. Raudon for a moment leans back against the gates before deciding that he can't let his mind go like his body is, and he stares damnation in the eyes. And then we get a description of Elantris. It's noted that every surface is coated in a slick, oily grime that blends into a pessimistic black mixed with a greenish brown like sewage. He also notes that a dozen or so Elantrians are laying in pools of rainwater uncaringly while moaning quietly to themselves. However, one woman is screaming with raw anguish until she can't scream anymore. Rowden also notices that all of the Elantrians are wearing traditional burial clothes similar to his, although they are completely caked in grime. His clothing is already getting a little just from coming into the city. So what do you think of the beautiful city of Elantris?
Doesn't sound that beautiful.
No,
Sounds
it's
perfect.
it's doesn't sound like the best place to be hanging out. Just screaming people, grime everywhere. It's beautiful.
Bunch of dead people.
They're not dead, or are they?
Bunch of dead people.
um,
I
so
mean, we just stated that this is where it's a burial ground.
yeah,
What else goes in the burial ground except dead people?
I mean, as we'll learn later, Galadon says they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead.
So Rowden then notices some Elantrians crouching in a doorway near him. As he watches them, he remembers the basket he holds, which contains some food and wine, which is a ritual Karathi sacrifice to send with the dead to their next life. Rowden remembers rumors of Elantrian brutality, and he begins to move along the city wall towards the east, and the Elantrians don't follow him. He moves into a side street and notes a terrible stench like dying fungus. Lovely. He then almost steps onto a teenager who he initially thinks is an old man. The teen asks for food weakly, and Rowden gives him the loaf of bread that was in his basket. And as he walks away, he hears a noise and sees some men have taken the bread from the boy, fighting amongst themselves for it. One of them gets annoyed with the boy, who's crying out, and brings down a club onto his head with a crunch. The men then turn to look at Rowden, and Rowden begins to run. Did you think the beggar was dead at this point?
I
They're,
thought they were dead.
they're all dead.
I thought they had died to like that club.
Yeah, I mean, you heard a
Um,
crunch.
yeah, and that I genuinely got upset. I got so fucking upset. Like,
Do you get more upset when you find out what's actually happened to him?
yes,
I know it's really fucked up what happens to them.
God, this like I know it's like story build up, and I know it's just explaining stuff left and right. But why you gotta do this to him? Like, man, he's already suffering.
I
Not
mean,
enough.
that's
He wasn't suffering enough.
that's who is it? Showersmen? Showersmen. We find out more about later. But yeah, they're pretty ruthless here. Fuck you up for some bread.
I mean, when you ain't got no food,
I'll fuck you up for less. Let's go. No,
I fuck you up just to fuck you up.
Oh
oh,
gosh.
fair.
So as he runs, he expects to run short of breath and get a pain in his side. Instead, he just feels horribly tired and weak to the point of collapsing. So why do you think he doesn't get like normal like tired symptoms? He gets like just
Oh, I didn't
different.
even think about it, but I just realized why.
Mm.
But it's like until like the last chapter that it makes sense. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say it right now.
We can go back to it. You can just
Okay.
remember it.
Noted.
Um, so Rowden throws his basket over his head and ends up falling into a pile of rotting wood. Which I'm honestly surprised he didn't get like a splinter or something from here.
That's what I was thinking when I saw that.
The men go for the food instead of Rowden, even scraping up. Oh, this is gross. Even scraping up grime with the corn to eat. Sure, them like explain like him like sucking this like more grime than corn grain off
that
his
shit
fingers.
that shit made me so disgusted.
I was like, oh, that's so gross.
But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. Um, One notices Rowden watching and grabs for his club, but Rowden grabs some wood, which makes the man pause. And one of them finds the wine skin and runs off with it, and they all follow off after that guy instead. And then a man who calls Rowden Sule, with a bald head and brown skin, speaks to Rowden. Rowden is relieved to see the man once he realizes he doesn't seem to pose a danger, and says he thought everyone here was dying or insane. The man says they can't be dying as they're already dead. So the
Yep.
first time you heard Galadon say that they were already dead, did you believe him?
I mean, no, because they're gods. But
Uh, I kind of figured it was like zombie type of shit.
yeah, zombie
So
gods.
yeah, that's what came to mind when I heard them say they were already dead. Like I legit thought it was literal. So, which, well, it is, but
Kind of.
yeah.
They could just have immortality.
I mean, they're apparently immortal.
Well, as I'm saying, they could just have immortality. They might not actually be dead people.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely seem like it if, you could go through some really heinous shit and then still be able to live technically, I guess, if you want to call what they do living.
Yeah, I don't know if I think I'd rather be actually dead than be Elantrian dead.
Yeah, 100%.
It seems worse than than
Yeah,
death.
I
most
think I'd want to.
minor energy.
I think I'd want to see how much pain I can withstand.
Why? That sounds
Probably not
horrible.
much, to be honest.
I'll get used to it eventually.
It sounds like
Uh,
you don't. That's one of the things is you don't get used to it.
Nah, they're just weak. Don't worry about it.
Anyways, so Rauden realizes the man isn't from Erelon as he uses the word Kolo, and the man who introduces himself as Galadon says he is from Duladel. Apparently, only people from Erelon can usually get the Shoud, but Galadon says that people from Duladel are of mixed blood. And then Rauden then notes that he has stubbed his toe, but the pain isn't going away. Galadon explains that for Elantrians, the pain of every injury is the same as the second it happens. He says you have to either be very careful or be like the Rulos in the courtyard. Do you have any ideas about why the pain never goes away?
Well, if they're dead, then
because they're immortals.
that's no, that's not how it works.
Sure it is. If you took immortality without healing, like without a ridiculous healing property, it's the exact same thing. You'd be literally in pain.
Yeah, but they have zero healing property.
They don't have even
Exactly.
normal human healing.
Exactly. Healing. Like we don't heal.
I mean,
If they don't
humans do.
heal, I mean, yeah, very over time. So like if
Yeah,
you take that away but give somebody immortality, you're gonna be in constant pain for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want immortality.
I don't think so either. Not like in that stipulation.
Nope.
it'd
I
be
want
fine.
immortality, but not in that stipulation.
What were you gonna say, Darkness?
It'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking about like the extent to that immortality and stuff. Like,
I
cause we
mean,
know.
I'm only making a inference. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm hoping they're not actual zombies. That would just be very sad. Then I would also want to know how this person actually died, but because
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust his father at all, as far as I could throw him.
So Rauden then remembers that those men had beaten the beggar boy, and he goes to see him still alive, but with his neck crushed and his throat gashed open, trying to breathe and lips moving but making no sound. Rauden asks how long the boy will be like that, and Galadon again says they are already dead and he'll be like that for eternity. Galadon says they could try burning him, as Elantrians burn easier than normal people. But I don't remember if it was in this paragraph or another one, but I think he says at one point though, like making fire in Elantris is like difficult. So
Yeah, because
it's
they don't have it. They don't have the means to make fire.
Yeah, cause of the all the wood being
all the
rotted
wood's
and stuff.
super wet and rotted. Yeah. So yeah, what were your thoughts about seeing the beggar boy still alive like this?
I
Life is pain. Deal with it.
Life is pain.
no. Uh,
I mean,
I felt
you asked me what my thoughts were. Life is pain. Deal with it.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, this poor guy. He was so
Yeah,
happy when
I felt
Rauden
bad for
actually gave him food. He was like in disbelief. He was like, "Oh
him.
my god,
Well,
someone
probably
gave me
because nobody
food."
does that. Kind of like
Finally, I've been
nobody just gives their breath away. Nobody
Gives
does
their
that.
food away.
Yeah, nobody just gives their food away.
I've been waiting for like years for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably might have been.
Or it could only have been months, but still, months without food sucks. Especially since like
Yeah,
Rauden himself just
hell,
like woke
I
up
could
very hungry.
I couldn't deal with a week without food, so
I don't think I could deal like a day or two without food.
I can go a day or two. I just can't go a week.
Rauden then asks what happens to his soul, and Galadon says the religions Karathi, Derethi, and Yesker. I'm not sure if it's Jesker or Yesker. Um, say that they don't have souls. Galadon explains that some say destroying the body kills them, but some say that they live and just become pain itself. Rauden notices the blood seeping from the boy's veins slowly, like it has just been sitting there, not moving. He then realizes he has no heartbeat, and again, Galadon insists that they are dead. Uh,
We're dead, guys. We're dead.
He's like,
Get it through your
get
skull,
it.
man.
Yeah, he's just like, get it through your fucking head. We're dead. We have no heartbeat. The blood's not pumping through our body. Like, just.
We are dead people. We are zombies. Deal with it. The sooner you deal with it, the less I have to explain it to you.
Yeah. So they end up leaving the boy, and Rowden follows Galadon, who seems to not care if Rowden is following him or not. As they walk, Rowden decides to trust Galadon. Rowden says he wants Galadon's help, and when Galadon isn't interested, Rowden brings up the hunger and takes out a piece of dried meat. Rowden asks what he would do for the meat, and Galadon says he could just attack Rowden for it. Rowden replies that Galadon wouldn't attack someone he called Sule, which means friend. Rowden barters for Galadon to show him around and tell him what he wants to know about the
Honestly,
place.
that's assuming a lot because I'd attack my
It
best
is.
friend for shit.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, he says he sees like the wild hunger like in his eyes that he's like holding back.
I would have been like, hell no, back up.
But yeah, so he wants to be shown around the place for the next 30 days. Galadon eventually agrees and tucks away the meat after almost eating it straight away. Galadon asks for Rowden's name, but Rowden says he can just call him Sule. So why do you think Rowden doesn't want Galadon to know his name?
Because he doesn't want him to know he's royalty
Mm-hmm.
or was royalty. You know.
Yep.
I mean, kind of lose your title if you're dead.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think Rowden wants Galadon to show him around for like a whole month?
To keep him alive, probably, or whatever that might be.
Any thoughts,
Alive
Douglas?
in death.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to a place that's possibly dangerous, you gotta look for people to,
Mm-hmm.
help you around and teach you.
Yeah. So we then get chapter 2 where we meet Serene. She learns that as soon as she steps off her ship that she is a widow to a man she had never met, Prince Rowden.
That's sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, it sucks. So there's
Yep.
a melon-sized.
Just go home.
She can't though. She wants the.
She can. She just doesn't want to.
Well, I mean, not if she wants the agreement between their two countries to stay.
Yep. She could then still go home.
So she has a melon-sized ball of light next to her, which states they never liked that clause in the contract. Apparently, this clause stated that if either her or Rowden died before their wedding, the betrothal became legally binding. Serene notes that this is a common clause in political weddings, and we also learn that the ball of light's name is Ash. What do you think about the fact that Serene is legally married to Rowden?
Well, I mean,
That confused the fuck out of me. Like,
you don't really, even in like now, you're not technically unmarried from somebody just because they die.
they didn't marry though.
They did.
They were
They
engaged.
didn't.
They put it in that title.
Yeah, they put in the
Yeah, but
clause. If you one of you die, you're officially married.
That's
Yeah.
so dumb in my opinion. Like,
Well, as she said, it's
right.
like good for political marriages.
Yeah. Because I mean, if the person died, you kind of need that.
Especially with like political stuff. Like, what if they get like assassinated from someone who
Exactly.
doesn't want the marriage to go through? So Serene notes that it only took her 5 days to cross the Sea of Fjorden, and that apparently her husband had died of an unexpected disease. The king hadn't even come to tell her, instead a man named Kitol, who is a court attendant, told her. Serene states her father would laugh.
King doesn't like his own son.
Serene states that her father would laugh at the situation. Ash says he would not. Serene also notes she had arrived early to surprise her fiancé, which may have led to the king not being able to meet her at the docks. She then asks Kitol to take her to the funeral tent to see the casket before she meets with the king. We then skip to Serene being at the funeral tent. She notes flowers, offerings, and praying Karathi priests, and there's a lot of people. Ash explains that he was extremely well liked, and Serene notes true grief in the faces of people here. Do you have any notes or thoughts about the fact that Rowden was so well liked by the people?
Yeah, who would have killed him? Not his own father.
oh my god, that makes sense.
I mean,
Doug is like, oh no.
I mean, it was either his father or his mother. That's what I was thinking. So
Stepmother.
The mother.
The stepmom.
Oh
with the way that
my god.
yeah, with the way that they act, it definitely seems like one of them could have done it.
Damn. So Serene approaches the casket, noting it is covered in aeons of peace and hope, and asks if she can see the body. The guard denies this, saying the disease was disfiguring, and that the king has asked that the prince be given dignity in death, and we obviously know why they won't open the casket, because he's not actually in there.
Because he's
Mhm.
ugly.
Because he's actually, I mean, because he is ugly though too.
I mean,
Like,
he's also ugly, but he's also not in the casket.
Is he?
supposedly.
I mean, he's got black, blotchy skin now, and his hair is like limp and gray and like falling out.
You
Yeah.
can't judge a person for their skincare routine.
I
Like,
mean, you sure as heck can.
no, that's just rude.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I didn't say it wasn't rude. I just said you can.
So
Damn. You're hating on people who are bald too and like with
Yeah,
gray hair and shit.
I hate on a lot of people
oh my
for a lot of less reasons. So
Fair enough.
I hate on Midnight for being short. Can't
Wow!
control that.
Fucking rude. Why am I being bullied here?
You're always
Because you're bullied in everything. Why would I not bully you in the podcast too?
Anyways. So Serenity notes that something doesn't feel right, and Ash says she has a suspicious nature. She notes that King Iodon is holding court instead of a vigil, and she has spoken to Rowden just before leaving Teod, and he seemed fine. Ash then notes that Serene's father had asked Ash to keep Serene out of trouble, which Serene notes is impossible. And then she says she's going to see her new father. So yeah, do you think Serene will figure out that Rowden is not dead of a disease, and if so, how far into
Yes,
the
100%.
book? And if so, how far into the book do you think that will happen?
Oh
It'll
god.
probably be near the. I think it's gonna be like 1/3 of the book in.
Do you think like part two?
Maybe a little earlier. Yeah.
I think she'll figure it out in part one, but
You think it's gonna happen in part one?
yeah.
I see.
I don't know, however long that part one is.
I think they're about a third of the book. There's part one, part two, and then part three.
Yeah, so I feel like she's at least gonna learn it sometime within the first part, but
I see. So on her way to the palace, Serene thinks that she isn't sure what she's doing here. She considers herself a lanky, brusque woman who is apparently past her prime at 25. God damn it.
I could see it. I could see it. Very naive.
I mean, to be fair, like she does say, I think that like I guess like most people are married by that age because I guess it's like the older times, right? So,
Yeah.
just hurts. It hurts as someone who's older than 25.
Same.
People who are older than 25 are like ancient.
Wow.
I know, 100%.
So Prince Rowden was her last chance to get married.
I definitely feel ancient. Well, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Rowden was her last chance to get married. She then tries to get her mind off of that by staring out the window. She notes that the people look well off without beggars, even though other countries say Erelon is suffering economic hardship.
Probably because they're throwing all the beggars into Elantris.
Serene wonders why King Iodon decided to build his palace in Kay. Ash suggests that it's because it has the finest port along the coast of Erelon. Serene also thinks that it could be that staying close to the old capital will lend him authority. We then learn that Seons, like Ash, are said to be ancient creations of Elantrian magic and that they have an Aeon at the center. So what are your thoughts on Seons so far?
They kind of seem like the ghosts from Destiny.
I don't know much about Destiny.
It reminds me of like the fucking fairy from Legend
Oh,
of Zelda.
Navi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem a little less annoying than Navi.
Hey, listen.
Well-
Hey, listen.
Well, to be honest, we don't know the personalities of all of them. And
That's
they
true.
kind of
Ash
each
seems
other.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ash is pretty level-headed. They're also a lot bigger than Navi. They're like melon-sized, apparently.
Yeah.
You know, hey.
Maybe they just like enjoy eating. You don't know.
What did they eat? They're balls of light.
They eat like
Light? Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
they just they photosynthesize.
or maybe they feed on their breaths. You never know.
Maybe.
On their breasts? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That joke again.
Yeah. Oh, hey, he said it.
All right. So Ash then says that the wedding contract states that King Iodon must keep the treaty with Teod as long as Serene stays faithful to her husband. So she's not allowed to remarry or anything. She has to stay loyal to this dead man, as
Gonna
long
die a
as.
virgin.
Sounds good to me.
I
I get to be royalty without having to like do anything. Yeah.
Also, does she automatically inherit the kingdom then?
I
When,
hope so.
he
That's what
dies?
I was thinking.
Just kill him off. He's such a pain in the ass.
Like I was thinking, like that's the problem with like that type of like marriage contract. Like That's gonna be her kingdom now, you know?
Well,
Right?
yes and no. So I agree. It's a problem with like an inherent flaw with the system. But uh, in all
He
honesty, go ahead.
he does have a second wife, right? So
It is his second wife, Eshin.
I guess that would
Meet later.
work as a means out.
Yeah. In all honesty, though, like all they have to do is prove that she was unfaithful to him,
It's true.
which I mean can't be that hard to be in all honesty.
Hmm.
You just get a whole bunch of people on your side to make up fake witness statements of her getting with some other guy.
Like midnight
I mean,
gaslighting.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Or I mean, you kill your own son, so
Yeah.
like, how hard would it really be to gaslight a whole bunch of people into believing that she was unfaithful?
Um. So where was I? So Serenity also goes
Being
into how
being distracted. That's where you.
into how Teod needs this treaty as Fjorden is expanding its influence. Also, apparently, the Duladel Republic has collapsed, so we don't know if Galadon knows that or not. He's from Duladel.
Probably not. It's probably stuck in here. He
Yeah,
has
it
no
depends how long he
outside
was stuck in
information.
there when it collapsed.
Out, no outside information.
Yeah. So Serenity then gets a look at her new father, King Iadon of Arelon. He's apparently thin with a shrewd face. He doesn't even notice her for 15 minutes, and she also notes that he doesn't show any signs of grief over his recently deceased son.
He's
When
also sexist.
Oh yes, so when Serenity is finally moved over, she's interrupted mid-curtsy by him commenting on her height. And then he then turns to his wife, Queen Eshin, to take Serenity to her rooms and give her things to occupy her time, like embroidery and stuff. It's like wow, he has
Sounds like fun.
real
I like
real.
embroidery actually.
Hmm?
Embroidering is like actually fun.
So yeah, what are your initial thoughts on King Iadon? I'm sure they're very positive.
The sexist pig. Yeah, very positive.
It's great, you know. Couldn't ask for a better father slash king.
Hmm.
Mostly king. Yeah, because we already knew he was a bad father. He killed his own son.
Oh.
But yeah, Dad of the Year award, right? He's such a good dad. Even if he didn't kill
Yeah.
his son, he's like obviously doesn't care that he's dead.
Hmm.
So then yeah, we get more on Eshin, who is rambling to Serene about flowers and windows that are too large. Serene notes that she never once mentions Rowden during this whole like long monologue, which there was nothing important in there to even note really. I'm gonna be honest.
Nope.
Once at Serenity's rooms, the queen mentions that everything has been unpacked and she's been given more clothing and like lots of colors, even in yellow, which Eshin hates. But she specifically does not hate blonde, as it's different to yellow.
I mean, it
Apparently,
is.
I mean it is, but I don't know. She's a weird mom.
It's a completely different color.
I mean, it's still a shade of yellow.
I mean,
Anyways,
only if you see it that way.
Anyway, so then Serenity is reminded she'll have to wear black for a while as she's in mourning, and she knows that she doesn't like black. She's like, oh fuck, I
I
guess I'm
mean,
wearing this.
they didn't state that mom or dad were wearing black though.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think.
So, are they in mourning or not?
I don't know.
Do you mourn somebody that you kill yourself?
For appearances, probably.
Well, I mean, that's if you care about appearances, I
That's
guess.
true. So Serenity then gets Eshin to leave her room and speaks to Ash, who had been off speaking to the other Seons in court. It's also known that Erelon used to be overflowing with Seons, but now there are few of them around. Ash says none of them want to speak of the prince's death, as it's considered ill-omened. And Serenity then admits she thinks someone killed the prince. And
So do I.
Ash lets Serenity know that Eshin is actually Rowden's stepmother, which may be why she isn't grieving much. But I don't know. I feel like unless like she literally just remarried the guy like recently, I feel like he would still like it's still like this kid that you've helped raise. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on
Hmm.
Queen Eshin?
She's a
Uh,
weird one, Mr. Grinch.
I don't like her.
You don't like
She talks
Eshin?
too much.
She just
Just
babbles
like
about
you,
nothing. Wow.
I mean, she reminds me of this person. I think her name's Midnight.
right?
Yeah,
I think I've heard about her too. Heard too
yeah,
much, you know.
yeah. She doesn't feed her cats. She's very short.
Uh,
didn't Peter's stepson, you know,
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
doesn't really care about her own children.
I think we might see her as suspicious and like probably evil, but uh, she's
She's
probably
gonna just
gonna.
be she's just gonna be my naive and
Yeah,
a
I think
typical
she's gonna.
woman in all types of
I mean, it seems like the type of woman that Iadon expects her to be at the very least, so maybe he would go for women like that.
I feel like she's gonna break as soon as possible. She's gonna start blabbering nonsense to like about nonsense.
He killed him, I swear. Somebody believe me.
She'll be the next one to go into Elantris.
Yep.
Imagine she's just talking this much because she's nervous because she saw the king kill him.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom.
Stab. Or I don't know. I don't know how you would bring the Riod against
What if?
someone.
But the thing is, like, what if the only reason that happens is because they're already dead?
What do you mean that they turn into this thing?
Yeah,
Man, possible.
like a
Kind of
return
like
situation.
kind of like
You know?
Returned. Yeah.
Would that be too similar though?
Doubt it.
I mean, it's the same author. He could literally write the same thing over. He can't copyright himself.
I'm
Also,
just.
actually, you know what?
I mean,
I
I guess
kind
he
of
could. It just would be very pointless.
What were you
I
gonna say,
kind of want
Darkness?
to look that up now.
I forgot. I mean, like, I just like the fact that he developed into a different sort of like immortality than like a returned.
It's pretty much the opposite.
Yeah.
Well, more like just the bad parts of all of being a
Yeah, because I
return.
guess neither of them really apparently need to like. I mean,
To be fair,
yeah.
they don't really have that much power besides the immortality
That we know of.
that
Well,
we know.
apparently they say Lantrians used to be godlike
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
So
Riod.
maybe they actually did have some powers that
No,
we'll
I
find
I
out.
know they did, but I'm saying like now all they can do is suffer, which is like
Yeah.
lame. But
Suffer.
So yeah, so then we learned that seance can be used to speak with people across distances, so they're basically like fucking hologram balls or something, I don't know.
Yep. Help
Hologram
me,
cell
Obi-Wan.
phones.
You're my only hope.
And Serena is able to speak with her father, King Eventio. Serena explains to her father about Rowden's death and says he won't need to come out in a week for the wedding. Her father knows her
Because
well
there
and
won't be one.
yeah. Her father knows her well and states she is a romantic and wouldn't have agreed to this marriage if she didn't think she could love Rowden. Serene notes that she had frightened away most men in Teod by her forward and almost arrogant personality. She assures her father that the marriage was just political and this is fine. She also mentions that the Svordish navy is under Wern's control and their armada won't keep Fjorden off their shores for long. Aventio asks if Serene wants to come home and that he can void the contract, but Serene declines. Yeah. Serene declines, saying that they need the contract. Plus, Iadon is technically her father now, but Aventio says he'll always be her father. I don't know. I find that very sweet. He's a good guy, Aventio. And then they
Man, yeah.
then they joke a bit, and Serene says she wants to play with this new court, and her father jokes that she'll get the people to name her monarch. Um, and then he
Very
says
soon.
he'll get her mother to speak to her. So yeah, what did you think of Serene's father, King Aventio?
I mean, he seems like a decent guy, I guess.
Seems like
I mean,
better
aside from the
than the
fact
last
that
dad, better than the Venom series
ah,
dad.
he's hella better than.
I mean, hell, even whatever the other guy's name is, his dad's better than Venom and Series
Iada?
Dead. But
Iada? I don't
yeah,
think Iadon's
even
better.
even even he's better. I mean, he might be a
I don't know.
sexist, asshole, but at least he doesn't like give up his children. He just lets
Well,
them die.
I mean,
technically, he did
He didn't
give
get
up
he,
his.
he didn't give up his child. His child was dead. What do you do with a corpse? You can't do anything with a corpse.
Yeah, I guess.
and then
Yeah,
what?
at least Siri was alive.
And then what are your thoughts on Serene overall from this chapter?
I mean, she seems naive,
Think she's
kind of
naive?
like Siri, in the beginning of the Warbreaker.
What do you think, Darkness?
I think that.
How often do you do that?
Uh, I mean, I do see the comparison to Siri. like really like
Yeah.
similar in some aspects, but I feel like she's gonna be more, how do I say it?
Outspoken.
Yeah, like more prone
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
doing shit her own way and
Yeah.
like
I agree.
actually stepping up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I liked the whole "I'll make this court my own" kind of thing. That was pretty cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like that definitely gave me Siri vibes. Like that badass person. It's one of the things I didn't like about uh, the beginning of Warbreaker because Siri seemed like she was giving in to what they wanted her to be when she was really some other different way before.
Yeah, she
Hmm.
was timid.
Yeah, which was kind of irked me. She was changing for a man. I didn't like it. You should be yourself, girl. Female empowerment and all that.
So we then have chapter 3 where we meet Harathan. So Harathan calls himself Erelon's savior and calls the people of Erelon godless and heretical. He notes that he has 3 months to convert Erelon, otherwise Holy Jadeth, Lord of all creation, would destroy it. We also learn the name of his religion is Derethi. What did you think about this introduction to Harathan?
At least he knows what he wants.
I also struggled severely to try and get
Saying
his
his
name
name.
right.
Saying
Yeah.
Harathan?
his name. Yeah.
Like not even just that. I think remembering his name I was struggling
You
so
remember
hard.
you struggle with Harathan, remembering his
Yeah.
name?
I didn't even remember Harathan was in this book.
What? Do you
I
not
thought he
remember
was just
Harathan?
another. I thought he was just another like supporting character.
He was the one that you said was going to be your favorite
I know,
during the
but
prologue.
but
So,
but then I met him, and now it's like I don't know.
no longer
You're
your
kind of
favorite?
boring.
He seems like a supporting character. I mean, they all seem bland and boring.
I
So
told you, look,
far.
his character work is. Everyone complains that his character work isn't the best of his books in this one, but
Just,
the plot is great.
I mean, we'll see.
Anyways, so Harathan judges the defensibility of the city and mentions that Erelon is the only country on the Cyclan continent that has avoided being dominated by the Fjordal Empire. As he walks off his ship, he walks confidently, and people get out of his way, likely due to his blood-red armor of a Derethi Imperial High Priest. So he's just
See,
walking around
the
like
only
full
interesting
on,
thing about him.
yeah, full on blood-red plate armor.
See, that's cool. I'd love to see that guy.
Yeah, right. I think he's got a cape too. It mentions at some point.
No capes.
He's got a blood-red cape on the armor.
Have if
Clearly
they
not.
have they have never seen The Incredibles.
That's what I
No
was gonna
capes.
say. That's what I
No
was gonna
capes.
say.
Capes are bad. No capes.
Yeah. You know who? You know what I just realized?
Mm.
Midnight is Edna.
I'm who?
Oh
The
yeah,
little
Edna. Yeah,
yeah.
Edna. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean she's definitely short enough. She'll probably
wow.
cosplay her.
It makes sense.
She's just. I don't think she has I don't think she has much of a passion though for fashion.
I don't have a passion for
Yeah,
fashion.
yeah. She can't even cook. I mean,
I can cook! Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. Anyways, so we then meet Fionn, Kai's Derethi head Arteth. Fionn apologizes for having to leave the carriage behind and then leads Harathan to the Derethi temple. Harathan is not happy to see the people hanging out and socializing inside the temple. He's like not impressed by this. And
I
Harathan
guess they're
has
heretics.
Yes, Harathan has Fionn assemble his priests and tells Fionn that he'll be heading back out on the ship that Harathan came in on. He also gets angry at Fionn for not speaking Fjordell. He states that he has orders from Wyrn himself and that Fionn has forgotten his calling. They are here to help people, not be their friends. Harathan will take over this chapel instead. So, from all this information, what do you think about
Hopefully,
the Derethi religion so far?
sounds very straightforward and knowing what it wants.
No
I,
happiness.
Nope.
Were you gonna say darkness?
I mean,
Happy.
it's like let me not say anything controversial. Never mind.
What? No, come on. I
I was gonna say
don't
that's
hear
like
you say controversial stuff. Come on.
nah. That's just like 90% of religions anywhere. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I
so.
agree with you. I agree with you on that. Very
Uh,
cult-like.
so
Exactly.
Either believe me or perish.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like what?
they're like to the extreme of believe me or perish.
Yeah, you are either gonna follow my laws or you're going to die and be in a terrible place.
Like Elantris.
Yeah, exactly.
So Hrathen then
Elantris is their hell.
takes over Fjorn's office after having thrown out his personal effects and paintings. Like, this guy's still here and he's throwing out all his shit.
I mean,
Uh,
sounds great to me.
so he briefly notes a scroll that he doesn't think his hands are worthy to touch. And then Fionn
I
enters
mean,
the room. Hmm?
they're not. So
No, no one's hands are worthy.
yeah,
So Fionn enters the room, bowing with his
they
forehead
are
to the
unclean.
floor. Fionn
They are
apologizes.
unclean.
Fionn apologizes, and Hrathen says he needs to go back to Fjordell, join a monastery, and then he can rejoin service. Hrathen then shows Fionn a scroll from Wyrn himself with his seal and signature. Fionn drops it back to the desk after realizing he is not worthy to hold it. Because fuck you, you're not Fjorn.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
However, he reads it and thanks Hrathen for sending him away, as he would not have been able to do what needs to be done. Hrathen then hands Fionn a letter, and after Fionn leaves, Hrathen burns an identical letter that would have called Fjorn a traitor. So he
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 had
proved
contingencies.
himself.
He had contingencies. This
Yep.
man had contingency plans.
Yeah, he was like, there's either gonna be yeah, you can go back to a monastery and reclaim your former glory potentially, or you're a traitor, get fucked. Letter,
Yeah, you're a
depending on your
traitor. We're gonna kill you.
responses.
Yeah, you're a traitor. We're gonna kill everything about you. Yeah, you'll never be known in this city again as a good person.
Oh,
I mean,
Which
hey,
is,
that's how politics works, you know.
what did you think about the two letters, Darkness? Were you surprised he had the second traitor letter?
I mean, seems like the type.
Yeah, very calm, collected, and methodical. Yeah, definitely seems like him.
So we then time skip a bit to Hrathen going through the priests that were under Fionn, evaluating them to see how many of them he'll have to send back to Fjordell as well. He notes that most, even ones that have only been here for 6 months, are too corrupted to be useful. We then meet Dilaf, who is Arlish, sorry, but still a Dorethi priest. Hrathen sees religious fervor in Dilaf's eyes, which apparently is more common in religions such as the Jaskari mysteries. Dilaf then explains how he was recruited in Duladel and that he was sent back to convert his city of Rain and Erelon. He then came to Kai with his converts. Hrathen then says what Fionn had done was wrong because you can't promote someone to the same status as yourself. I think I actually also accidentally skipped over the part where Dilaf basically says that, like, basically just like says Fionn was horrible, lax, and like just bad mouths him fully.
Yep.
Yep, because he was terrible. Yeah.
Yep. Because he was a nice guy, and fuck being nice in this religion.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Hrathen says that you can't promote someone to the same status as yourself, but Hrathen then makes Dilaf a proper Arteth, because he's higher than an Arteth, so he's allowed to promote people. Hrathen praises himself silently for making a good tool, but then wonders if he was manipulated. He offers Dilaf to be his Odiv, which means
If you're wondering if you were manipulated, you're most likely manipulated.
yeah, which is why he makes Dilaf his Odiv. So Dilaf is basically his slave, but it also does give Dilaf more power, so there's no way he would reject it. Hrathen then has Dilaf follow Fionn and make sure he gets on the ship, otherwise he should kill him. So what were your thoughts on
Oh,
Dilaf?
Calm, methodical,
Thought
smart.
Dilaf was calm. I don't know, Dilaf with his frantic religious fervor.
yeah. No, that gave me like, uh, there's always those like crazy super fans in like cult movies and stuff like that.
So what you're saying is it's a cult,
Yeah, I feel like
kind of like being Mormon.
if they said like, "Hey, I need you," like your God demands you to like set yourself and the whole city on fire, then they'll probably do
Oh,
it.
oh yes, please, my lord, I will do as you ask.
Yup. So then we then learn the contents of the scroll, which states that Hrathen again has 3 months to convert the people of Erelon before Wyrn's soldiers will come and kill all those who do not worship him. Hrathen notes that he is the only thing standing between Erelon and Teod from total annihilation, and that one day they will call him their savior. What are your thoughts regarding the letter from Wern?
Total Annihilation sounds fun.
Yeah, I bet it does.
What about you,
I mean,
Mender?
I agree. I mean, Total Annihilation sounds fun.
What do you think about
If you're
Harathan
if you're
being a
the one,
savior?
oh, I mean, well, everybody thinks they're hero of their own story.
Sorry, I kind of interrupted you there.
I said everybody thinks they're the hero of their own
No,
story.
I meant before that. I
Oh,
accidentally
I
interrupted
mean,
you.
I don't know. It was probably some nonsense, kind of like
Okay.
this guy, what this guy says.
Yeah, so that was the Harathan chapter. And then we go to chapter 4, which is another Rauden chapter. We also get a new Aeon at the start of this chapter, which is the Aeon Edo, meaning protection and safety. So Rauden and
You did a lot of
Galadon.
protecting and safety there.
So Rauden and Galadon are watching a woman who has just been sent into Elantris. She ends up going to the left after crying at the gate for a while. Galadon says she chose the best option, and her food basket is soon taken from her. Galadon notes that Coretta's men rarely hurt people compared to Andin or Shower's men. Galadon then explains how the injuries build up and Elantrians eventually just become moaning, crying messes. Apparently, Galadon has only been in Elantris for a few months, which Raoden's surprised by. He thought he'd been here for years, and most people don't last more than a couple years before they just become these messes. So what do you think about the people of Elantris living? I mean, we kind of talked about it, but now that we've kind of got it described about how they just kind of go insane and become piles on the floor. What do you think
I
about
mean,
that?
couldn't go very long without food, so
You
that'd
think it's
probably be a
just through
mess
food?
too. I mean, the lifestyle, the place you're at, be multiple reasons.
Do you think darkness?
Yeah. Um, I mean, it makes sense that everything's in shambles like that. I kind of like the system they have going though.
The faction system,
Yeah.
like the mob mentality. Okay,
They got the gangs.
yeah, pretty
It
much.
makes me happy.
The gangs make you happy. I mean,
I
at
could
least they're
see
not all
that, to be
fighting
honest.
over people and all. They've got a system
Yeah, I
going.
mean, at least they're not lifeless. Oh wait,
Huh.
So Raoden then asks Galadon to explain the three gangs to him. Apparently, Shower controls the market area, Karata controls the palace, and Andon controls the university. Galadon also explains that they've been eating the books and scrolls in the university as it tastes
only
better than
specific
crime.
ones. Only specific ones.
The ones that are made of lamb skin
Yeah,
leather or
which I
something.
mean makes sense. Like
Yeah,
at least
better
it's
than crime.
something that yeah, but
Uh,
at least it's something that actually
Came
would
from an
have
animal or
tasted.
something.
Yeah, would have tasted okay, I guess.
So yeah, Raoden is horrified that they ate such priceless information.
Me
And
too.
right? It's like they had priceless books and stuff there, and Galadon's like, ah,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter here.
yeah, right. What does it matter? We're all dead.
Galadon also says people had tried cannibalizing each other, but their skin is horribly bitter and people can't keep it down. Why do you think
Well,
Elantrian skin is so terrible to eat?
probably because whatever God gave them this disorder had thought of everything.
They want him to suffer,
Yeah.
eternally and always.
I feel bad for the people who were experimented on for cannibalism.
Eh.
I don't. Hopefully they actually found a way to die.
I mean, you hope. As
Yeah.
Galadon said, even burning them alive, you're not 100% sure they don't still have their soul doesn't still live on in pain afterwards.
Well, imagine they just bit someone's a chunk of someone's arm off
Yeah, and then you just feel that for the rest of your
forever.
life. Yep.
Yeah, that's funny.
I
I mean,
mean, what if you just tried it on yourself? Right?
that's
Just
what I
try
was
to eat
thinking.
yourself.
Why would he resort to? Never mind.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously your skin tastes terrible, so but why wouldn't you just at least try it on yourself first?
Because you don't want to
Was
be
it
in the
though?
pain from the
A
bite.
little salt and pepper here.
Yeah, right. A little salt and pepper, a little
I guess they also could have
spices.
just done it, cut off chunks of skin from the people who are already insane with the pain.
Wow.
Why are we talking about
She's a
cannibalism?
she's a poet and she didn't
I
even know
didn't
it.
mean to do it like that, but okay.
I'll be right back, guys.
No.
Oh, okay. We're not. That's fine too.
All right, so where am I? So we have a bit of a time skip, and Galadon and Raoden are walking the streets of Elantris. During their walk, Raoden notes the city looks like it's been decaying for centuries, not just a decade. The city is massive, but you have to walk carefully so you don't slip and injure yourself in any way. We also learn that Galadon calls the Elantrians that have lost their minds the Hoed. Most have some sort of phrase they repeat over and over while they lay on the ground. Raoden thinks about his friends as they walk, naming Kin, Royal, and Lucal, and apparent clandestine meetings that they would have. He also thinks about Serene, who he assumes won't come to Kay with word of his death. So what do you think these clandestine meetings he were having with his friends were about?
How to get out of Elantris?
I mean, they weren't in Elantris; they were outside of Elantris before.
Yeah. How to get into a legend? No, I'm joking.
No, I still think it's that though. Like as in like somebody was in there, they wanted to get in and get him out.
I see. What do you think, Darkness?
Maybe they just wanted to drink. You know. I'm joking.
Happy,
I
you
don't know.
know, friends do that. You know, at least I mean, so I'm told.
I didn't put that much thought into the meetings, but like, I mean,
Now that she said it, now you do,
yeah, I was
right?
gonna say
Yeah,
now that you
yeah,
brought it up, I mean, like, it's
uh
gonna lead
huh,
to some things.
I mean, they're called
just
clandestine meetings. That's why I bring it
just
up.
like Warbreaker, how she kept saying, "What do you think? Who do you think the Warbreaker is? What do you think Warbreaker means?"
She's gonna
Just
be
like
like, "Who
that.
do you think Elantris is, and why is it burned to the ground?"
Yeah,
Who is the
exactly.
Elantris, really?
Yeah, like who is the city named after, guys? We have to figure that out like right now.
Oh my gosh. So Raoden also notes that when Elantris fell, a great chasm had opened in the south. He notes again
Oh,
that the city...
chasm.
I was
Yep.
gonna say, you say chasm?
I don't know, chasm. Whatever.
What is a
Okay.
chasm?
Just, some people pronounce it that way.
All right, everybody, get in the comments.
Get it. Get it.
Anyways, he notes again that the city had decayed too quickly for only a decade, and it felt like the city itself was committing suicide. Why do you think
Oh,
the city is decaying so quickly?
it's
Because
because
it's
of the.
dead, just like everybody else.
It just needs some coffee to wake up. Nah, but maybe it's like actually like feeling every. It's the state of like everyone in there, so it makes sense.
Hmm.
You know
So
that it affects the
so
surrounding.
you're saying even the city is dying? Yeah,
Yeah, maybe Elantris is alive.
yeah, maybe. Maybe it's a person. You know, we just didn't know.
Who is Elantris?
Maybe Elantris.
Exactly.
Maybe Elantris is lonely and it's sending that little whatever it is to kill people and then make them get thrown in there. And they're
It
like,
just
"Yay,
wants
more
more people
friends."
back.
Or
It's Nightblood all
maybe
over again.
exactly. Or maybe Elantris is the reason that they're ascending to this godhood, and because people have like shunned away from Elantris, Elantris is like, I will take the worst and the best, and I'll put them all in, and I'll have an army of undead, and then
Oh,
it'll be Warbreaker all over again.
and then Vasher shows up and not.
No,
Basher somehow
then
comes to a whole different like fucking universe and everything.
Yestiel comes in, and
Oh gosh.
Uh,
Uh, so Galden first shows Raoden the market district. He notes that Shower's men are the most wild and morally corrupt. He also explains how the reason that the gangs have agreed to the split of newcomers' offerings was because even if you win a fight, the wounds can be too much. So if someone even threatens to fight back, they will generally not fight them. So yeah, what are
which
your
is kind of what happened. Yeah.
yeah? So what are your thoughts on Shower and his men?
First off, what kind of a name is Shower?
that's what I was gonna say.
I mean, like, it might as well be Shower the Unclean.
I'm trying to figure out what Aeon Shower is based off of. Shower.
Hmm.
Aeon are you based off of? Because it has them all at the back of the book here.
How about
Yeah.
we skip to the last, like, the last two pages of the book?
How about we just read the whole book in its entirety right now?
Why don't we read it backwards?
Oh, Shower is based is their name is from the Shao Aeon meaning transform or change.
Change
Mm.
into
A
from
city,
dirt
yeah,
from dirty to clean.
yeah, or change into a city.
Or
Uh,
change into wild beasts like they've become.
you know what I'm interested in?
Mm.
We're not actually we're not there.
How
Alright.
about this? How about this? I got it. We're gonna flip this podcast on its head right now. We're gonna ask you questions.
I don't think I can answer much.
We're gonna ask you all the questions, and you're gonna have to answer us truthfully.
No.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So then they go to the university and palace districts, which border each other. Apparently, there is an unstudied truth between the two groups. It's known that the palace has 5 spires, only the center one being still intact. That the center spire is said to be the center of the city.
Is there a
Gal-
map for Elantris?
I believe at
There
the start of the book
is.
there is, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
There's a
Can
map
you?
of
Because
the
I
of the
can't apparently
region.
Google. Because I can't Google things, so I need you to
It's
put it in
I
the
in
can
the
Discord.
I can
beginning.
I can
I
send
don't
you the
have a
map.
book. I'm using an audiobook. Darkness.
You're right.
Here, let me find a map of Elantris.
I should go buy the
No,
book, but
I can just send you a screen. Can I?
I mean, you could. You could just take a picture of your book, yeah. I just know that most novels like that have maps for the places.
They definitely have a map of the area,
Oh,
which
we're done with
is.
Warbreaker. I can go look up Warbreaker song now.
Be careful doing too much looking up a Warbreaker. People of Brandon Sanders's work like to do crossover memes, and I don't want any spoilers for you for other books, just because they like to make jokes.
There's that one.
I thought there was also a map of Elantris, not just of the continent. Is it just a
I
map of the?
just sent it.
Did you? I can't find it in my book. Oh,
I can also find the actual map for the continent.
I put the map of the continent in.
They didn't.
Did.
They did. It's above.
They didn't.
It's right above you. It's right above yours.
Did.
I know.
Anyway, so this is the map, Smithic.
Okay.
Anyways, where was I?
Talking about locations. That's what you're doing.
Yes. So Galadon then says Karada is both the harshest and most lenient leader. She will not suffer intruders and rarely lets in new people into her gang, but she won't harm people who leave her alone or harm newcomers. She also takes the offerings from newcomers herself. Galadon also notes that she has escaped into Kai 3 times, and if she is caught once more, she'll be burned. Some suspect she wants to murder King Iadon. So what are your thoughts on Karada, and why do you think she wants to get into the palace?
To murder King Iodon.
You think it's correct to murder King Iadon?
I mean, I wish.
Why wouldn't you want to murder your murderer? You know, he murdered every single one of them.
Oh,
I don't know
damn.
about that. I don't know about that. That's a lot of murdering.
Exactly. Maybe he didn't murder them like himself, but
Oh, so he asked people to murder them for him.
no, he used the shadow clone.
Shadow
Clone
Clone Jutsu.
Jutsu. What are your
Bunch of
thoughts,
nerds.
Darkness, on Karada? Why
Um,
she's trying to get into the palace?
maybe maybe it's not like maybe it's not like a person she's after, but like something in the palace, like
Hmm.
specifically
I see, I see.
something hidden, something that maybe the stepmother found and is trying to keep a secret. Not true.
Do you think she's like after information? Or like an object or something?
I feel like yeah, they're hiding like some sort of like object. Maybe it's uh like magical object that helps them or something. You know,
Hmm. Interesting.
maybe it's night blood.
It's just night blood. So we then learn about Andon, who claims to have been a baron before entering Elantris. He wants to be the monarch of Elantris and is annoyed that Karada has the palace. Apparently, he holds court, claims he will feed those who join him, and wants to attack Kai. Apparently, he also gives out judgments on a whim, and Galadon thinks he isn't completely sane. So, what do you think about Andon, and do you think he really was a baron?
No, I don't think he's a baron. I think he lies about that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I see.
That's literally all. I mean, I don't have any other thoughts
Yeah,
about him
it's
in
a brief
general.
thing.
I just, but I don't believe he's a Baron, for sure.
So Radin then notices a well, apparently the only one in the city, as Aeon Door magic had given the Elantrians indoor plumbing. The well had been used for religious ceremonies. It is noted that the Aradel River runs under the city. Then Raudin sees a Seon floating around aimlessly. Galadon confirms that Seons go mad when their master goes through the shroud. This causes Raudin to think about his Seon, Ian. So what do you think? Why do you think Seons go mad when their master goes through the shroud?
Because they died.
I'm interested in the well.
The well?
I'm interested in how a river goes underneath the city.
Don't know.
Cause like, cause, cause if they had the magic thing, whatever that gave them like
Indoor
water,
plumbing? Yeah.
yeah. Why would they need a well there?
Well, they say it's they. I think he explains that they specifically need like fresh running water for like certain ceremonies of worship. Is why they have that one
Exactly.
well.
Which means that well has not just like a simple significance. There's like gonna be some
Mm.
magical shit happening there.
You think the well is gonna be super important for the magic?
Yeah.
I see. I see. So Galadon then mentions it will rain, and they should get inside. And Raudin asks where Galadon has been living. Although first Galadon says he's like, I'm from Duladel, and it's like, no, 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 dude. Where are you currently staying? And when they arrive, Raudin is excited to find books. Galadon lights a small lantern in a cellar that seems to be a study. I believe it has like aeons carved all over the walls and everything. And Raudin is very excited to potentially learn about the aeons that the Elantrians could do before the Riod. And then Galadon then casually draws Aeon Dio, meaning gold or metal, causing Raudin to drop the book he was holding in shock. So what do you think about the fact that Galadon can draw these magic aeons?
That is not as uh, rare as this dude thought.
I think it's really not.
Well, he said only the Elantrians could do it. So they're technically Elantrians. The same process
Yeah.
happened to them, except it's been fucked up somehow. So do you
But they
think
could
all?
still.
Hmm?
Mm,
I was just gonna say, do you think
mm,
all of the Elantrians now could do this, or do you think only certain, like only Galadon can do it for some reason, or?
I was gonna say I think all of them, but now that you mentioned that,
Yeah, it makes you second guess things, right?
yeah,
I know. I know.
I was just like
After
maybe I'm.
after after going through an entire book with her constantly saying things like "What is Warbreaker?" or anything like that, and hinting on little things that we somehow missed. Yeah, you start
I don't
second
know what
guessing
you're
yourself.
talking about.
Start second guessing yourself.
I don't know why you would ever second guess yourself when I'm asking questions. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get some deep, good predictions out of you. So yeah, that was our final chapter, chapter 4. So for the overview questions, you both had said that you had a favorite character after our little
Nope,
trailer for
I have no
Elantris
favorite
last time.
characters anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are your favorite characters still the same? Darkness had said Rauden, and Mythic had said Harathan.
Nope,
Mine are still the same.
Hmm?
mine are not the same because I don't like any of these characters.
Wait, did you say Darkness?
I said mine is the same.
Yours is still the same. You still like Rauden
Hmm.
best?
I kind of like that little fairy thing, the
The
ash.
Aeons, Ash.
Yeah. I'm also like really curious how they work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they tied to? They're tied to a specific person. So,
Yes,
They have a specific
like,
master, and then they're
go
said to be like,
crazy when that master dies.
yeah,
but how do they get tied to them? Like in when? At what point?
we don't know yet. But
And I
they're said
also,
to be ancient Elantrian magic, and they have like an Aeon at the very center of like their glowing orb
well, that's what
ball.
they say.
Well, Serenity says she can see the Aeon faintly within like the center of Ash's orb of light.
So could you rewrite the alien?
I don't know.
The way she says that means that I'm pretty much right. All right.
I'm not saying if you're right or wrong. I don't want to
Yeah.
give away
Nope.
clues.
Pretty much right. Got it. Just like I was right about a lot of things in Warbreaker in the end.
You guys are also wrong about stuff.
Yeah, true. But I was right about a lot. So if I just scatter throw all my ideas in there, one of them's got to be right.
I see.
We just gotta make a list of theories that make
Yep.
like
No sense.
absolutely no sense.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll be true, you know?
So what are your thoughts on Elantris so far? I know Mythic's not too excited about it just yet.
I like the it's like the aspects of like the possibilities of what they can do with the magic.
Mm-hmm.
I like the light creatures or whatever,
The
which
Seance,
makes me
yeah.
wanna it makes me wanna like figure out if they can make different types of creatures because I feel like they were made right specifically with like the magic that they
Mm-hmm.
used to have, like the gods or whatever, magical people that used
The
to live there.
Elantrians, yeah.
Yeah. um, so I feel like they were specifically made, which makes me want to figure out like what else they can make, because they seem sentient, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I mean, we just discovered that that magic still lives. So kind of interested where that's gonna go, especially inside Elantris itself.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, Mythic? Oh,
I mean,
did Darkness have one more thing? Sorry. I made a
darkness.
gasp.
Oh, you heard that? I was gonna say something.
Good.
I was gonna say I think I like this magic system more than Breath's
You like it more than the Awakening and
so
Breaths
far.
and stuff? So far you like
Yeah,
Aeon's better?
yeah.
I see.
I haven't seen enough of it to say I like it better than either one of them.
Yeah, it's been very introductory so far. We've only really
Yeah.
gotten
Well,
basically
I
one
get,
chapter with each character.
yeah, that kind of goes into what I was gonna say of like I just don't like the characters. They seem very watered down and bland, like
Mm,
like typical stereotypes.
It's because
mm.
they're just starting to simmer. You gotta like
Yeah, I don't.
wait till they get seasoned.
I mean, can we just throw them in the microwave?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
no, that's not how things work here.
Throw them in the microwave so they get some, sustenance to them.
Yeah, but everyone always has like their favorite books out of like when Brandon has like so many books, like everyone's always got their favorites. Some people love Elantris, some people are like meh, some people love Warbreaker, some people don't. Like
I just
it's
wish
all
Warbreaker had more.
I know. It's just all personal preference. So I don't know. Maybe Mythic won't be as into this one. Darkness seems like he might be getting into it, and then maybe Mythic will super love Mistborn, and maybe Darkness will be kind of mad on it. We'll see. See how it all
Well,
goes.
hopefully, we'll see.
I'm not gonna love this book
I
specifically for the reason that I know it's not gonna end well.
You don't
right?
know that.
It's because it has no end. It's probably gonna have like the cliffhanger ending, like Warbreaker.
It's a standalone book,
It's a
Yep.
standalone book.
right?
It has two short stories within the world of Elantris, but they're not like a sequel to them
I
to
don't
it.
like you.
There's one of the short stories is like a non-main
As
character's perspective from a certain section of this book, and then one of them is like a completely different character from a completely different part of this world.
we just should get as soon as we're done with this and we get to Mistborn, I'll be so much happier because it's a
It's a
series of
it's a
books.
3. I will say I feel like the Mistborn first trilogy I feel like is a has a really good ending for me personally at the end of the third book. I feel like it's really well wrapped up.
Unlike Warbreaker and Elantris, got it.
I'm not saying that those aren't. I'm just saying like I really did find that to be like a really nicely wrapped up ending, especially considering there's like future stuff for that series as well. Like I felt like you wouldn't have to read past the first 3 books and not feel satisfied with that. Like I feel
Unlike
like
Warbreaker and
I'm
Elantris,
not
got
saying that. I'm saying
it.
oh my gosh.
You're right. You're not saying it. I am. I'm continuing
I
your
definitely feel
sentence.
like it's more solidified than Warbreaker in an ending.
Yeah, I would assume because
The
it has
first
3
book,
books.
the first and second book though aren't going to be so much because they have direct sequels, and that was planned to be like
Yeah.
a trilogy. So obviously that's not going to be as tied
And
up to.
I feel like, and it's probably not what he did, but I feel like when he was writing it, in his subconscious, he wanted Warbreaker to have a sequel, but then it didn't. I mean, like he just lined it up for that, and now I feel
Yeah,
like
the
Elantris
the
is gonna have the
epilogue
same way.
does really line up a lot more than I remembered it doing.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
like
what you
when
said
you
was true,
state,
which was the final chapter wrapped it up better than the epilogue did.
yeah, hundred
Without the
percent,
epilogue, it would have been.
end it right there, end it right there, and be like, all right, they're gonna go. You don't have to have them do it. Just they're gonna go kill the lifeless. All right, cool. That's where it ends. Maybe a little uh, like what's the word for like the epilogue? I would have been like something like
Maybe Siri and
here
Susubra instead.
here's here's what Syria and Tusaban did and how they built this city better all of a sudden.
Like
Like don't
even
end
like
it like that.
even a tiny
Also,
ass
Atlantis is gonna do
paragraph
it too.
that describes what they've been doing
Yeah,
would have been fine.
Or like
yeah,
confirmation
like
if she's like actually pregnant or not. Find out if she can actually get pregnant from him.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's very highly unlikely,
It
but
doesn't seem very likely.
yeah, just because the way we had explained. But I mean, we're in Warbreaker. I was
Yeah.
trying to tie it into Elantris real quick and
Yeah,
saying,
same.
like, I really hope that Elantris doesn't also do that, where it's like, okay, here's the ending that, you think should be here, and then we're going to throw this little bit in here that'll make it so it's not a good ending anymore, because this is technically how we ended this book.
I will
And
say I'm trying to like quickly glance at the epilogue. I don't think the epilogue of this book is like that. I think it's pretty much a like final kind of like
ties everything together.
this is what this character is doing at like after the like final main conflict has been resolved. And it's
Yeah,
kind of
I
just
mean,
like
even
an overview. I think it's a lot better
yeah,
epilogue. I will say I
even
feel like it's
if
covered more.
yeah, even if like that's how he did it, right, where he wrote, instead of saying like, all right, they're going that way, just kind of be like, all right, this is what they did, years past, and this is what they did, and how
It's not a years
Centilier is now
past.
definitely
Yeah, I don't think this is
like
a years past epilogue, but this is just like a in Elantris. It's just like a little like it, from my quick glance through, I believe it's just like a quick little reflection thing
I gotcha.
from a character's point of view of
Here,
like
here
this conflict is over.
here's where they all died. Gotcha. Thank you. We'll move on.
But yeah, so I think you'll like the epilogue at least a bit better. Whether you like the whole book better than Warbreaker, I don't know.
We'll see.
You were very into Warbreaker, so I have a feeling you might
Oh
not
yeah.
like this one as much. But I do think you'll be a lot happier with the overall ending, just as it being tied up better, in my opinion.
Gotcha. It's okay. I've read plenty of books that I don't like, so
Yeah, at least from what I'm remembering and from what I quickly
I went through
glanced
an
at.
entire high school. So.
So, but yeah, next episode we're going to be doing chapters 5 through 8.
5 through 8.
Yeah. And this episode did go a little shorter, so we'll see if next episode's also a little shorter. Maybe I'll throw in an extra chapter next for episode 3.
Or an extra 3 chapters. Got it.
Not an extra 3. That would be too many.
No, that'll only be 2 hours. It'll be fine.
I'm pretty sure that'd be more than 2 hours.
Well, no, because we had like 20 to 30 minutes on this one, just talking before you actually started doing the podcast.
Oh fuck, did we? No, no, we had 5. We had of my timer. I started recording for it's probably been a little over an hour because you were gone for a good like 5+ minutes or about 5 minutes or so. So it's probably like hour 15, which is a little shorter than I would like. I want it to be between an hour and a half to 2 hours. So we'll add in one more chapter for when we get to episode 3. If next episode.
We'll add in one more chapter right now. All right, so it's a 9. Got it.
No, if next episode's also short, we'll add in an extra chapter for episode 3.
Cool.
Actually, how many pages? How many pages is this? Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll add in an extra one here. What is this? To the end of chapter 8. Where's the end of chapter 8? How many pages is this? Chapter 8. It's the end of chapter 8. No, I think this one. Oh, wait, that's into. Actually, that goes. Yeah, sure. We can go to the end of chapter 9. We can do
To
chapter 9 as
9.
well.
Woo! See, I get my way, darkness.
You can have your way.
Mhm.
I wore her down. I got a whole chapters. If I keep it down, if I keep doing this, eventually I can get a whole book.
No, you're not ever gonna get a whole book.
You also said that about a chapter.
Oh my gosh. Chapters 5 through 9 for next episode. There you go.
Huzzah.
Alright, so hopefully you guys will enjoy getting a bit more into it instead of just having kind of character introductions. So, yeah. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.